Bored Ape Yacht Club, the Mutants, the Dogs, there's some of them that are like the Bitcoin, the Ethereum in respect, as far as like people are like, okay, fuck, you have a Bored Ape Yacht Club. I know what that means, right? Like I get that. But then there's like other projects that are like random projects that are just completely brand new. They're like, oh, we're going to mint on this day. They run ads on Instagram, this and that. They get influencers to post on Twitter about them, this and that. What is, is there an NFT that, can NFTs be rug pulls is my question. Can they be worthless at some point?
Oh yeah, for sure. So I got into the space around March, and at that point, pretty much everything just went up. It didn't matter what you were touching. It went up, whether it's for a week, a day, whatever. At some point, it went up like pretty noticeably. We're not in that same exact ecosystem anymore. After like months and months of that, there's definitely projects that like they really have to show their value, right? We're past this, just everything moves, right? And so yeah, definitely. And sometimes it could really just be people being burnt out from it, like the designers, I mean, being burnt out from it, or like, they tried and they weren't trying to rug, but at the same time, there's no value there, so they need to go back to their day job or whatever the case may be. So yeah, definitely. That's why it's definitely worth looking for, like, people that have backgrounds in like animation or like whatever it may be. Whenever I'm looking at the teams, I really, I try to see like what was their involvement previously before NFTs were a thing, and try to judge it off that. There's some projects that are definitely on the lower end that I'm really messing with, and it's for those reasons. Like they had people from Marvel and Disney and stuff like this, and to me, that shows that they're the type of people that are going to stick around.
Some staying power. Like we're talking about, like like Atom Bomb. Like the Atom Bomb, like those
of course.
People. Like I fuck with Atom Bomb from back in the day as like having a skater background, and like seeing them make an NFT, like that'd be something I'd be okay. I recognize this from when I was a kid. I'm sure that people are still gonna recognize this 10 years from now. So like I'd fuck with buying one of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've known Ben and Bobby for years, and I was so happy to see that project unfold. And they actually sent me
that's crazy.
Yeah, they actually sent me an early link like a few hours before. I was able to couple before the whole gas wars and everything like this. So
no way.
But yeah, no, definitely a big Hundreds fan, and yeah, love everything they're doing. Yeah,
dude. Sure. And like with that, like when you because I know you use Twitter avidly, when you go on Twitter and you see people paying random influencers who don't give a fuck about their project to promote these NFTs that they don't actually care about, because we had a conversation about this in a separate podcast, and I just want to get your opinion on this. Do you see any similarity between that and when there was like crypto rug pulls? Like do NFT rug pulls exist in the same way that crypto rug pulls did, or are NFTs that are technically rug pulls still worth something intrinsically after the fact? You get what I mean?
Yeah, so a few things there. Yeah, so I definitely do think if an NFT project is rug pulled, it could still blow up. I'll give you an example. And this is a project I've messed with heavy. The funks, which are basically, if you know what crypto punks are, it's the same thing but flip the other way.
Yeah.
And so when those came out, I minted them. It was 0.02. This is back in like, I don't know, May or something like this when I minted it. And the owners, they sold out and just kind of like left the project there. Well, the fan base, they love them, right? I was still buying for months, 0.06, 0.08, just rare ones, common ones, whatever. I accrued 60 plus of them, right?
Jesus
and yeah, I was just buying it every now and then for the past 5 or 6 months. And so recently, one of the fans of the project, they built their own site, and it's called Not Larva Labs. Larva Labs is the company that did CryptoPunk.
Yeah.
And so it's its own ecosystem now where you could buy, sell, and trade, and they made their own site for it. And just overnight, when I was in New York for NFT University like a week or two ago, they blew up from 0.06 to 1.5 ETH. And I'm sitting on 60 of them as an example. So yes, rug pulls.
God damn, dude.
The community could still get behind something if they really mess with the art, really mess with everything, and they could just make it their own thing.
See, do you get what I'm saying?
What I don't understand about that though is the person that started that project, that started it, right? Do they have any say in whether people can continue without them as them? You know what I mean? Like, so let's say I start a clothing brand, right? Just like to try to wrap my head around this. Let's say I start a clothing brand. I make a cool shirt that everyone loves. People buy it all the time. And now I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm done. I don't want to create anymore. I've shut my doors. I'm not making that shirt anymore. Now, somebody that bought the shirt really fucking likes it and they like, whatever. and they start making it, can those people that made the original NFTs be like, yo, no, this is our artwork, this is our, you get what I mean?
Yes. So in this case, no one's making anything different other than the website where you buy it from. It's still the same exact NFTs that they made. If anything, here they're the ones that had copied CryptoPunks in the first place and just flipped it. So like,
So
there's a lot of
they just created the ecosystem for people to be able to trade them and shit, is what you're saying?
yeah. So what it actually did, what it did was, you're still buying and selling the same asset. The difference is it somehow cuts out the royalties that they were receiving because they were like ripping off the other people in the first place. So now those same items are being traded. No kickback is going to that company in the first place,
creators,
and they're just being traded. Like,
see, but I feel like that's a legal gray area, bro. That is for sure a legal gray area because that doesn't make any sense.
It's literally all on blockchain, just different contracts being created, being made, and yeah, it's literally kind of like an open source or something like this, I guess you would call it. But
yeah.
Definitely a wild space.
I just want to appreciate his answer.
Yeah, that was a good answer.
Well, like, I mean, we argued that, like, it doesn't matter if they rug pull, because Edwin and I had this talk for 40 minutes the other day on a podcast, and I was like, it doesn't matter if they rug pull, like, it's still art, like, it's still there, and you own that piece. So it's not fucking crypto where somebody rug pulls and now you can't do anything with it, like, you can't even trade it, you know?
That's the big thing, right? Go ahead.
The one thing I didn't understand at the time was because even just now I completely forgot that's how it works. Where the way we just spoke about it, I assumed that the people that took over that NFT in particular were making more of them. But what you're saying was a limited amount came out and they just stopped supporting it. Is what you're saying?
10,000, they sold out, they stopped supporting it, but the fan base was still there. They're still buying, they were still trading. But the fan base wasn't really happy about the fact that like they were the ones still like getting royalties off of it if they just kind of like abandoned it. Like usually the whole thing here is like most of these projects, even with Bored Apes, you'll see the owners in the chat like talking and explaining and answering questions. But these guys just dipped. They just dipped and that's it, right? So this is the type of thing where they didn't really build out the infrastructure. Usually there's like a roadmap after you sell out, new comms, new features. So instead, the community built the features. In this case, they built the features that everyone, the tools that everyone wanted.
It's on the blockchain, so somebody can just grab it and be like, all right, everyone who owns this gets a fucking new. Well, no, that's just gets it sent to them, right?
Yeah, so I mean, again, in this case, the items are already in people's wallets. Nothing changed with that. It was just the website being built and the tools. So you can search like purple hair or like pink glasses or whatever the traits. That wasn't even built out. Yeah, that wasn't even built out yet. It was just bare bones. Yeah. And so that was what was being built here, is the infrastructure for people to easily trade and understand what they were even trading in the first place.
So is every NFT project inherently finite? You get what I mean? Like, you know how Ethereum can keep being created but Bitcoin cannot? So is that like a staple of NFT projects, like they have to be finite?
Yes. So the exception that I know of that I can think of is one of the earlier projects. I don't know exactly how it works, the mechanics of it, but actually a couple come to mind. But I think CryptoKitties, I think there's millions of them, and I think there's like a breeding aspect to where you have two or something you can make. And I'm pretty sure with Axie Infinity,
they have like e-sex and shit.
Yeah, pretty much. So Axie, if you have like a certain amount of Axie, I don't know all the details because I've just recently gotten to Axie, which is like a play to earn game, which I think is a big thing for like NFTs. Why they'll grow and stuff.
You know,
like
it's funny you say that because my uncle was talking about that the other day. We were out with him, and he's real big into NFTs and crypto, whatever. And he's like telling us about it, and he goes, dude, and this Axie thing has such a, it's a great game. And I was like, I looked at him, I was like, shut the fuck up. You're not playing the game. Yeah, I was like, you're not playing the game. Like, come on, you're investing in it because you know it has good infrastructure or whatever. You don't give a fuck about the game. Like, it's not a good game comparatively to this day's standards.
Basically Pokemon, but think of Pokemon like Red and Blue. It's Pokemon bare bones with very minimal features. The features are still there, but they're being built out. And it's what everything else they're building. They're building their own wallet. They built their own DEX for it. They have their own token for it. So, and the example of Flunks, where I said they just released the NFTs and they just left it. With Axie, they're really building out this whole ecosystem in a way that literally no one else is. No one else has their own DEX, their own token. all this other stuff to make it just its own ecosystem in that same way. And the stuff that they have coming, I think too, is just going to increase its value even more. So it's really that's what you're looking for in a project is creators that are building an ecosystem around it.
I fuck with having you on this, bro, because I've learned so much in the last 20 minutes that no one's been able to explain to me in NFTs in general. You know what I mean? Like actually, and Arab. So I'll go back and say that you are right for the most part. You are right to a degree because there still
give me the whole part.
There still can be rug pulls. You know what I mean? Because he just said it himself. He said that there are rug pulls, and I will say that crowd of people got a little bit lucky because that is a direct mirror on a really popular one. So it wouldn't happen with like a shit one. You know what I mean?
Well, but I mean that's the shit. That's shit art.
No,
art
not
wouldn't do that either. You buy shit art.
Not the art being shit. It was already a known thing that people just mirrored and were like, well, I can't have the big one, so I'll have the mirror of it. You get what I mean? Like, that's what happened.
Yeah, like people at least wanted some version of it. They couldn't afford the other version, so you know.
Yeah, it's like if they had a Bored Ape Yacht Club that was mirrored and worth $10 instead of $200,000. Like, of course, it's like bootleg almost.
And so for me, bootleg is the perfect example. And for me, when I had my CryptoPunk, I wanted the matching CryptoPunk, so I got the set, one facing left, one facing right, and I posted it.
It's called CryptoPunks?
Yeah,
with an F?
PH.
Oh.
PH.
Yeah, I remember seeing that shit.
If you go to notlarvalabs.com, you'll see exactly what it is. Notlarvalabs.com.
Yeah, they're not on OpenSea anymore, huh?
So this was a big part of the story with that too. Is so they mint it, they were on OpenSeas, and OpenSeas decided this is too close. They took it down, right? And everyone of the community complained. They're like, I thought this was decentralization. How are you choosing what the people want and what they don't want?
Yeah.
So they brought it back. And then one of the employees was like, no, I don't like this community. They took it down. They're like, wait, what? Again, you guys are centralizing it. This is not okay. They brought it back. And lastly, Larva Labs submitted the DMCA. And once that happened, there's a zero tolerance, whether it was like actually like filed or not. They just claimed they did. And because of that, they took it down, and that was the last straw. And after that happened, that's when the creators like stepped away. They didn't want to like get involved anymore.
So in all fairness, there are outliers and special situations where something that could have been a rug pull comes back, but in most cases, a rug pull.
It's done. Yeah, a rug pull is a rug in most cases. But in this, there's a passionate group of a couple thousand people who really were just, these are sick. We stand for decentralization. That's why we're here in the first place, and like we rock with these.
So it sounds like neither of us were really all the way wrong.
Stop doing that thing. Just fucking admit you're wrong. Holy shit.
Dude, no.
You're wrong.
I won't. No, you were wrong, man.
Just admit it. Fucking swallow your pride for a second.
Yeah. Dude, I think if anyone needs to swallow your pride, it's you, idiot.
Damn, you got me. Fucking, I know you are, but what am I?
Listen, man. First of all, fuck yourself. Second of all, dude, so there's this actual project that I wanted to get into. It was I don't know if you've seen it. It's like pickle punks, where it's like they're like little pickles, you know what I mean? And but see, I liked the artwork and I liked the presentation of it, and they had a roadmap and everything, but it was an Instagram page that was an ad, and it had 10,000 followers, and I was like, I don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So there was actually a pickle project. It wasn't called Pickle Punks. I forget what it's called, but it was very early on, and they were like the first meme project. This was maybe May, and they're like, we promise you nothing. And like it's just I think it was called fucking pickle, or like something like that. And like there's like all this hype around it and stuff like this. So that was when I mint it, and I made pretty good money off of the way that I played it. Basically, I minted it for 0.02, and pre-reveal I was selling them for 0.2, so 10xing my money basically. And then it revealed, and it was literally just a pickle. And so people were like very disappointed, and soon after, like the prices dipped. I'm still holding one. I have one pickle. He's sitting in a vase, and I just have him as like a token of like I was here at that time.
So you got rug pulled, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Yes, it was a rug pull.
Rug pull.
But I think I played the rug pull perfect.
Yeah, but the community can bring it back. Like,
yeah.
I'm not even gonna argue. He's stuck. I don't even think he believes himself. I think he just is doing it just to say like.
I just heard the NFT expert say he got rug pulled. So that's all I'm gonna say. That's all. I'm just gonna drop the mic on that.
I have over 900 NFTs in my wallet,
Holy
and
fuck.
I would say 60% of them are rug pulls, and then like another like big percentage is just ones
Wow.
that didn't do it well, but the owners were still kicking and like trying to
Right.
make it work and still like in there with the
Yeah.
community. And
So-
the very like the 1% is like the ones that really like excelled, you know?
When you get rug pulled on an NFT, is it the same thing as like as when you get rug pulled on a crypto coin where it's like there's a bunch of hype, a bunch of promises, and then nothing happens, and then everyone just like there's zero volume of trading? Is that the same thing?
Yeah, so the first like rug pull I experienced, it was a project, Golf Panda or something like this, and I loved the art. I was actually in the Discord all the time. I became a mod in the Discord. I like fucked with it and like heavy. And then like the mods, we even like got it to where the project was on Rarity Tools, which is like a big step to get on Rarity Tools. If you're like into like clothing or whatever, think of it as like being featured on Hypebeast as an example is like
that's cool.
it's a big deal. And so you know, we set that all up. The devs, we were like asking for them, they're like responding very little, and then out of nowhere, boom, they like literally dipped out. I woke up one morning, the Discord was gone, they deleted it,
No
and everyone's
way.
asking me like what happened, and like I had no clue either. So like
Yeah.
it kind of reflected on me too, and that was like the first rug pull, and that was the last time I really tried to get like super involved in a project that wasn't my own because I have like no control over the other people
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was like the first rug pull, and that one like really sucked because I actually sold some of my rare assets because I believed in it so much to like put more into it. So that was like a big L that I took on that one.
And what happens to that art you bought? It's currently worthless?
Yeah, so it's in my wallet. It's trading for like 0.0000001
Yeah.
But similar to
With
crypto funks, like the community can come back and be like, all right, we're making this worth.
It's just not as it's not as likely there.
Obviously,
yeah.
right.
I really like the art there. I'm gonna be honest. The art there was sick.
I would say like the funks versus the punks. Once again, I think that was an outlier, and so that whole rug pull to return to success doesn't happen often. To be clear, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's pretty rare. The funks is like the first one that comes to mind, and I'm sure there's a couple others. There's one project that like it was I forget which one it was, but they claimed to be a full like woman developer team, and it came out like they were either none of them were women or like very few of them or something.
They were
they
were just identifying, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so what they ended up doing was they gave the contract over to a female, and then she you know took control of it, and she was the one getting the royalties from it, and then it really picked up again. I didn't follow it after that, but like that's another example of like it coming back from like a bad scenario. So that is the cool thing about the space is like nothing is like finite. Like there are because it's online. Think of a video game. You can have updates to the system to make it better. And like there's games that like they don't do so good in the beginning, but then with updates they do better. That's kind of how the NFT space is too, into like some extent, which is pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, that is fucking cool. But it's not like based on the art being valuable. It sounds more like it's based on the community wanting it to be valuable enough to just huddle together and bring it back. You get what I mean?
Isn't that what art is?
It's a combination of all of it, I would say. You know, those are a few pillars. Like even with starting a brand or anything, there's not one thing that makes anything successful, right? It's like it's like a snowball effect of multiple things. And so, I mean, I think that goes with pretty much anything. Is like it needs people that really like fuck with it. It needs like good art or at least art that people enjoy because it's funny or whatever it may be. And then like multiple other variables too. But, yeah.